Guessing acts of service is how GEEGA shows she cares. What are the love languages again? And I need to look up a chart. Is there any like scientific basis to this? Or is this like one step removed from horoscopes? It's like Myers-Briggs. Yeah, I think it's one of those things like you could say most people fall into some of these categories of like this is how they tend to do these things, but I don't think it's really like deeply psychological, is it? I feel like this is more learned behavior. This sounds like it's like behavioral, not like innate psychological, right? I don't know, if I look at them, yeah, I think I'm an acts of service person because I'm like if I don't do something for you, then I feel like I'm not proving anything. Quality time is okay. Words of affirmation, I'm a words mean nothing, only actions kind of person. Physical touch, I don't like touching people. Receiving gifts, I don't like receiving gifts that much. Yeah, I guess acts of service or whatever. Yeah, I feel like everyone does a mix of some of these for sure. Like you could probably like tier list them, right? You didn't know what acts of services were until you went on dating sites, thought it was doing community service at first. It just means doing something for someone, right? Just like doing anything for anyone. I'm one of those people where like, so here's an example. One of my cousins was pregnant a while back and I wanted to do something for her. I wasn't gonna get her a gift. I wasn't gonna just send her messages and be like, hope you're feeling well. I went to her house and I did her laundry. Like I just went to her house and did and folded her laundry. She had another kid and you know, I was like, I'm just gonna do that. That's how I'll do it. But I'm not really like I'm not gonna like say a bunch of affectionate words and be like, that'll suffice. Some people like that. Some people like reassurance. Some people like receiving those words. To me, I'm just like, okay, well, anyone can say anything, right? Like that's my brain and how it works, you know? So I'm like, so to prove something the other way, I'm like, I'll just do something, right? So I did her damn laundry. She had a toddler at the time and I was like, why don't you sleep? I'll hang out with him. Like you sleep, you know, stuff like that. I think the love language thing is like, while it does seem pseudoscientific, I feel like everyone has their tendencies, so I feel like this isn't the worst thing. It's not as bad as like saying, I do this because I'm an Aries or whatever the I don't hate this one. I don't hate this one too much. Those gifts of service are really well received. Yeah, because I feel like they're the most practical. Some people need a mix. Like you could do practical things for them, but they occasionally need like that verbal reassurance or stuff like that. It's hard for me to put myself in other people's shoes because that stuff doesn't do much for me. I like only believe it if they like do a thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't fully believe it. That's just the way I am. It's not that I assume everyone's lying. I'm just like, well, this means nothing until you like actually do something. All right, I'm just kind of results oriented. So for me, that's why I give in the same way, I guess. I guess so. It's a good categorical system, but it's not indicative of who you are as a person. Me, when I say I'm INTP and then someone else is like, me too, we're like the same. And I'm like, okay. All right, whatever you say, pal. The MBTI is heavily flawed. Well, when you get your chart, you're supposed to look at it and it's like you lean on, like if 50% is the middle, you're 60% toward this, right? Or like if the middle is 0 and then there's +1 to one side or -1 to the other side, like that's how it's supposed to be. And there's a little slider of how far introverted versus extroverted you are, right? And if you're just positive slightly or negative slightly, that tells you which letter you are. But yeah, it's different because like the N for me, when I took the little test, it's always like, I'm like almost 100% N, right? So someone who's like the S type, the second letter is S for them, I'm like, I have nothing in common with you on that part, you know? But there might be people who are like also INTP and the N for them is like 51% or whatever, you know, plus 0.1. And they're like barely there. They're like in the middle. You know? So just saying like your letters doesn't really indicate that much, I don't think. I think the test makes some sense, but it's also super easy to fudge. It's like really simple. It goes, do you like people? And you're like, no, very much no. And then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get an I instead of an E. Ha ha ha. Rubs hands together. Like it just, it's okay. It's okay. Trying to see. So, oh, Ryuko put the poll up. What's your love language? You said not to sound like I'm doing a bit, but what love language does having sex even fall under? I would obviously physical touch because yeah, you could claim all the others, but like it means that that's the end all be all, dog. I don't think it's too hard to figure that one out. I don't think it's too hard. Ooh, most people said quality time. Slightly fewer said acts of service. Quality time, I see. It's not a bad one. I say that's second for me. That's second. It's a valid question. I think you could apply that to all of those things, but like there's clearly a main answer, right? You said a 30-second act of service. I like acts of service and very little quality time. That's this guy right here. This dude hates quality time. You said, question, as someone that shows acts of kindness, do you feel initiative is needed? I tend to need to be told, and I'm just curious. Needed in what context? Like to define it in one of these 5 categories, or like in general, do people need that? I think initiative, if you're talking about like categorizing it, I think it is needed. If you have to be told, then yeah, I think so. In general, maybe it brings you a lot of happiness to be able to do something for someone. But I think if you need to be told, then I wouldn't categorize yourself as that thing, because it's not your default to just go and do, right? It's not an act of service, that's just following orders. Yeah. Because also like how you feel on the inside and what you actually physically do are 2 different things, right? So, and that gets into the debate. That's where I am. So I'm a results-oriented person, like I said. If someone says, my love language is acts of service, but they don't actually do those acts of service, they just think about doing them and are like, that would be nice. Then I personally would be like, well, then it doesn't matter. Then that's not your love language because you don't actually do them. Whereas other people would be like, yeah, but that's in their mind what they feel is the thing that's most significant. And I'm like, okay. And that's where some people just differ, because I'm like, if you don't do it, I don't care. You know, it's not real. But that's just me. Because I feel like it falls into the same camp of like, you talk about doing something and you get the satisfaction of doing it without actually doing it. Well, then you got satisfaction to soothe your brain, but nothing happened. Therefore, it does not matter, right? That's a mechanism that happens with people. They'll get up there and talk a big talk about wanting to do a thing and then not do it, but they'll feel satisfied because they talked about it. And I think that falls into the same camp, right? So that's why for me, I'm like, it's not real unless it's like tangible. It's a thing you did. I'm in this picture and I don't like it. Everyone does it. Everyone does it. I want to absolve myself, right? That's like, everyone does that shit. But that's why, you know, it isn't until it's done that you can really be like, okay, that person is that kind of person or this kind of person, you know?